Welcome, race fans. Episode 12, Watermelons and Woodchips, presented by Central Iowa Diesel Performance. As always, we have our gang, Josh Reynolds. I'm Cody Malakote, Jonathan Logue in the studio, and with us today, well, Cowboy Ray, Jeremy Mills. And Jeremy, you had a stellar season this year, and we're like, man, we got to get this guy on here. So we've had a lot of requests, so here you are. We appreciate you coming down for this.
I'm glad to be on here. I've been listening all year, and yeah, it's been really good. And yeah, we had a good year. For whatever reason, everything just clicked down here, and you kind of just get onto something that works. And yeah, I don't know. We just had a good year. I really like this place. I always loved coming here, and yeah, I think a couple of years ago we tried to run it the full season, and this year we just didn't really set out to run full season anywhere. We just see what happened, and then we kind of started having a good year here, so we thought we'd just stay with it. See what happened.
Worked out.
So we had Cody do the Victory Lane interviews this year. You guys saw each other a lot. Like, you were parking down in that infield more than some guys are parking in their pit stall. So
that is true. Yeah, would you win 7 races here?
I think 8 with the Prelude.
8? Okay.
But yeah.
That's a pretty good year.
Yeah. Especially here because the competition is so tough. And,
yep.
And of course, the track always got a lot of action on it, so you have to try to stay out of the crashes and be aggressive. And, yeah.
It just seemed like, the way the racetrack fell, from the start of the night to when the modifieds go out, you could always tell, like, nights were like, oh, Jeremy's going to be good here. Because in watching you, even I think it was more towards even the end of the year, like, you knew you had a really fast race car, and you just, like, watching from the infield, I could see it. Like, he's just waiting for these dudes to come off the top. Like, they're searching around because they're struggling, and he's just waiting for them to clear a lane, and he's gone, you know? And that's what it seemed like on most Saturday nights.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the year, I did most of my passing on the bottom, which was very odd for me, especially here. But, like, the top is always usually pretty good, so everybody's up there. And so I had to kind of start to run the bottom. And then, towards the end of the year where it got a little more, I'd say a little more racy, but I was definitely always waiting for the top to open, and then.
You mentioned that being good on the bottom at the beginning of the year. The Boone Speedway brought in all that dirt last year at the beginning of the year for the first time in quite a few years. We've talked about it on multiple podcasts, but to be able to do that, to pass cars on the bottom or even the middle, we've seen that a lot in the beginning of the year. Not that we didn't see it at the end of the year, but I feel like you could really tell a big difference that it sped the bottom up to be almost as equal or sometimes better than what the top was. And I can vouch to that too. I felt like, in the stock car class, I feel like the track longevity was a lot better, and then as time goes on, we throw all that dirt up there and up to the top, and Jeremy always zipping through the field. I did some little bit of research on you. You started racing in 19 modified. Started racing a modified in 99.
Mm-hmm.
You ran after picking up your first national title in an IMCA hobby stock in 1998. And then come to the Super Nationals that year and run second to my dad, and that's kind of what started. He says that you could have roughed him up a few times. You liked roughing me up better than you ever liked roughing my dad up. You still owe me a door too, Dick, Gary, or Tyler, somebody.
4 minutes.
Well, so my dad said, Jeremy Mills is. We all know that you're not going to get a Christmas card from the '87 this year, but. For a lot of racers out there, Jeremy Mills races very aggressive, very respectable, has been doing it a very, very long time. And that's what kind of, that respect that you gave racing my dad that year and running second to him your rookie year is kind of what really kickstarted your guys' relationship and is still what that relationship is today.
Yeah, we have, I think, a great relationship. We always have. He's done a lot for my racing career. Before he owned Harris, and then after he owned Harris, or while I was had Harris, and
Well, you were a house car driver for Harris there for I don't know how many years. Dad couldn't remember either, but you weren't in it. Were you in a Harris car when you ran second? Then that's what you started in.
Yes, yep. I bought a car from Doug France that Jack Byers used to drive. Was my first one, and we weren't even planning on going. I wasn't even planning on going to Super Nationals that year because I'd never even been to Boone, and it was like midnight the night before Wednesday, and I was just sitting in the shop, and I'm like, I told my mom, I said, I think I got a bad idea. I said, I don't think I'm going to go to Boone tomorrow. So I think she gave me some money for some tires, and I showed up here, not realizing that back then it didn't start super early as much as it did today, but and the first time I pulled onto the racetrack was, I think, for my heat race, because I think I missed hot laps because I was parked clear out yonder. So, so I guess right off the bat, I always just got along really good with this place. And then, with racing your dad, I remember there was a hole down in the middle of turn 1 and 2, kind of towards the bottom, not where it was like this year, but he kept running through that hole. And of course, sometimes being in second is a good place to be. So I started kind of searching around a little bit, and I had several runs, but being a rookie, especially at that race, I didn't want to make my pass too early because he is who he is here, so I'm going to get passed again. So I'm waiting, and I think we got like 2 to go, and he hit that hole, and I dove underneath him and passed him on the backstretch, and the yellow came out. And I'm like, well, that's over. And it was, because he didn't hit the hole again. But and then, our relationship kind of started better from there. And I had a Harris car when Charlie Clark had it, and I stopped here in Boone one day and to your dad's shop. I think he was working for GTI then.
Yep, Bill Gunther. Yep.
And pretty much told him that I think I'm going to try to find a different car. And he's like, I'd just like to see you hold on a little longer. And we had a pretty good conversation, went to lunch that day, and still didn't know what he meant, but I'm like, whatever, I'll wait a little longer. And then, he called me a few weeks later, and after that's when he bought Harris and was going to move it back. And so then I became the house car driver, I guess, for him for several years, and we won a lot of races together.
Well, there's this one time that Jeremy had this really crazy idea. He wanted to put a stub on his race car before Super Nationals, the Saturday or Friday before Super Nationals. Rocky Cottle, Rockstar, and Jay Mills, Cowboy here, have a great, awesome relationship, have known each other, worked in cahoots on racing stuff over the years, and Rocky worked his ass off all weekend long to do this crazy thing that Jeremy wanted to do, and my dad brought that up.
Yeah, well, so
because he thought you were crazy.
Well, what happened there is
what had happened was
we put a new body on, and right before Super Nationals, and I ended up measuring my wheelbase, and my wheelbase was way off. And so we had several conversations back and forth, and he's like, just roll the rear end back. You'll be fine. Just roll it back. And I'm like, I got to go back like 3 inches or 2 inches or something stupid. I'm like, that isn't right. So brought it down, and sure, I don't know what had happened. It hadn't really been wrecked, so I don't know.
Now, wait a minute. It hadn't really been wrecked? Or
well, not that I ever
Jeremy
remember.
Mills wrecked.
Well, it wasn't hard. But,
right.
But anyway, whatever happened, it needed a stub, basically. And so I just was going to sit out, and Rocky's like, nope, I'm going to get it done. And I'm like, well, I can't be here to help. I got family vacation thing going on right before I came down here. And he's like, nope, it'll be fine. It'll be ready. And I get here for hot laps, I think, on a Monday. And it was ready.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know how Rocky did it, but
Rockstar does Rockstar stuff.
He sure does.
He is savage when it comes to that. He puts his mind to something, boy, and he'll do it. And there's a lot of racers out there over the country that can contest to that. So
the nose on the 10 mod, I try to watch. Like Cody was saying, you could kind of see when you start to get to hunt and peck mode. you can see that thing either going into the corner or coming off, and it's just got that little bit more speed. And it's, to me, that's when it's Mills time. Like, this guy's going by whoever's in front of him. Take me back to the hobby stock days. When did you get your start in the hobby?
So my brother won a championship in 94 and 95. And in 95, a crew guy, Gary Ellis, and myself bought that car for my brother, and we were going to split time in it. And
You had to buy it and then share it with your brother?
no, Stacy moved up to stock car.
Oh,
so I shared it with this
bad.
other crew guy because
Okay,
we had
fair.
been crew. And then he raced it at, I think I raced it at Alta maybe, and then he raced Algona and I raced Britt. I don't know. We would go back and forth. But anyway, that car got wrecked somewhere through that first, no, maybe it was the second year. But anyway, so I started racing in 96 and then really wasn't very good at it at the beginning of the year. And when I got into a car for the very first time was in 95 at a mechanics race in Algona. And I spun out, I don't know, more than I went forward, I think. But yeah, and I don't know why I wanted to race, but I thought I'd try it. And then kind of about halfway through that year, things really started clicking. And then in the next year, I got a different car partway through the year, and that car was really good. It was an old Carlsberg car that Mark Elliott had worked on some. And anyways, it got really good and won a lot of races and was looking pretty decent for a championship that year. But up at Britt, been the 4th of July, I think, and there was a heat race and a cash dash in the feature, and we won the heat race and won the cash dash, and I was sitting like kind of on the fender checking stuff, and I reached up and checked the radiator hose, and that hose blew off and got all over my legs and gave me some pretty good burns and whatever. So then I couldn't, the rest of the year I still raced, but I couldn't do a lot of the work because I couldn't get the dirt and all that stuff, and just kind of fell off a little bit at the end of that year. And then the next year in 98, we pretty much won about everywhere we went, every time we went. I mean, won 30-some, 40-some races that year.
So a lot of cheating going on in 98 in
Correct.
the old hobby stock days
Correct.
back when they weren't really checking a lot of stuff. Okay, fair enough. Still got a national title out of it.
Yeah.
It's a huge accomplishment. Jeremy?
Lost some motors along the way.
Yeah, oh, you were a part of the claim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you take
Okay.
it? Did you get any?
Oh yeah, I if I got claimed, that's actually how one of my best friends, Rob Hughes, I got claimed the week before in Algona. I think I ran 4th, and I went to the pit meeting and I told everybody that I was going to claim tonight. Whoever got 4th, I'm going to buy him. Well, I don't think if anybody believed me, but I ran 5th and then claimed Rob Hughes, and they weren't very happy. But I said, the best part about this claim is I said, you can come back here next week and get it back because I'm going to put it up front, and I don't get that opportunity, or I haven't,
Right.
And
Put the damn things away from the microphone at least.
Well, but I can't. God put arms on you to work on stuff right here.
Those pecker tongs are a little short.
Yeah. Well, hey, but I keep looking at it and I'm like, all right,
Can't steer away.
I'm just going for it.
so yeah, so
Sorry,
anyway,
Dan.
then he came back the next week and claimed me back, and we've pretty much talked every day since then. That's how the claim was supposed to work, but usually doesn't work that way.
Right. So in IMCA hobby stocks, they didn't really, so they used to be street stocks, and then IMCA sanctioned them. And this would have been pretty close to the beginning of that, right?
I think so.
So, and I always think about that they were a little bigger in northern Iowa, and then they just kind of came down through central Iowa like crazy, because by the end of the 90s, we were running 4 features
Right.
here.
Yep.
Like,
And I think right at that year, I think there was 4 features here too, all the
Okay.
time, it seemed like.
Yeah, because I think, by the time, 2001, there were still 4 features,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's nights 2000. I just remember 2001 because that was the last year that Jason ran them. But it was like there was 85 cars.
Yeah.
No
is
B
crazy.
mains, bud. Line them up by the heat races.
Yep.
Come on,
Right.
let's go.
4
We're running
features
4 of them.
And I think, too, that when the sport mods came along, too, that pulled some guys
Yeah,
from
some
it.
down.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I as a driver, I mean, not to be like tugging on the Boone Speedway or anything, but way to just step it up and just so everybody got to run a feature.
Yeah.
You know, not a lot of people had bad nights. I
Yep.
mean, they per se of not making the show as like we do now, you know.
Yep.
But back then, I think out of the 85 hobby stocks, I bet you 40 of them were hometown Boone, Iowa.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
Pretty close.
Right.
So there was a massive.
So that helped. That helped a
massive amount
ton.
from here.
Well, and let's be honest, back then it was a lot cheaper. Mm-hmm. You could go to the junkyard and get a car and gut it, you know, and now a lot of people, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that do that.
So when you were in the hobby, did you do a lot of junkyard diving? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and actually the in '98 there, I was talking to Brett one day after I'd been claimed like 3 or 4 times in a week, and I went up to the junkyard and got a new motor, new used motor, put some rod bearings in it, and told Brett I'm gonna take this $200 motor just like you say we can run. Yeah, I made it about 4 laps in a heat race at Alda and grenaded. So
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, those were good times, and making the transition from the hobby to the mod as well as you did. You know, there's not a lot of guys that have done that, and we were talking right before this about a name that I've brought up on here before was Scott Anderson.
Mhm.
He won the Hobby Stock Super Nationals, I believe it was '99. And then I think he went to a mod, and then we kind of didn't hear from him again.
yeah, and I mean he raced up around Mesa City and Britt there for a while and did pretty decent in it, and then I think he opened his own business of some sort, and I don't know if that probably took away from that a little bit, but
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, people jumping from that. You know, now we have we have a different, I guess, bridge the gap, I guess, with the sport mods, right? So, like, it kind of forces you guys to, back then, it kind of forced you to go, okay, we're either going to go fender racing or mod racing, like,
Right.
and that's what you were doing.
And I think my goal at that point was I wanted to end up in a mod because Denny Hovengay worked for my dad for a long time and drove for Roger Dukeman and for my dad and my uncle in late 80s late 70s, early 80s on a late model, and then he had this modified in our shop all the time. So, we were always kind of around it then. So I think I knew that's where I wanted to go. And it's like you go to a stock car and the motors cost just about as much. The tires are the same. Like, I just felt like maybe it was where I wanted to go. I was gonna waste too much time,
Right.
in that division too.
Well, the motto back in the day was fenders were for pussies. like the modified,
Yeah.
and like that was the open wheel thing, like and the Dorf car stuff is like so. I felt like if you ran a modified back in the day, you were a badass.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that was the badass class, around here. That isn't all the late model people out there, and stuff. But they also used to have a pretty good late model program back in the day that actually ran around. So I think the cars looked so much different then. I'm going to hag on you a little bit about your age because I got to watch you. I got to, grow up and watch you race with my dad, and then I got to race with you, and how things have changed so much. Just in the last 15 years, Jeremy Mills has raced 441 feature events since 2011. 67 wins, 268 top fives. It's in the top 5 more than 50% of the time, folks. We see in the last few years, you've raced, a ton of nights. You've taken advantage of IMCA being running the southern, at the Kokopah and the Yuma and these winter events and racing. When you first started racing, it was Memorial Day till Super Nationals.
Sure. Yep.
Is it just hey, this is a time that now they're doing this, let's do it, or were there goals? My race pass, folks, is such a great tool to get on there, and this is where I got all this information. But so I only went back 15 years. I figured that was plenty. But what a career! You've won. You've got a lot of feature wins. Are you close to that 100th IMCA? Are you over it?
Yeah, I think I'm at 100 and, well, Tyler would know. I got the 100.
158.
Yeah.
158. I was going to say, we can phone in a friend.
That's modified.
In the modified.
In a
Just in the
modified.
Yeah.
Just in a modified.
You know, and then there was several years, probably 4 or 5 years up there that Algona, Fairmont, Mason City, and all that were unsanctioned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where back, I don't remember when necessarily that was, but there was probably 4 or 5 years there, and I mean, and I had pretty good success in those years as well, and win several championships up there. But so yeah, so I mean, I've been very fortunate. And
Well, it seemed like Tyler kind of jinxed you there at one point in time because he had texted me and was like, hey, if Mills wins this one, it's going to be his 150th. And then it was like he'd run second.
Yeah.
Or he'd be leading and something would happen. And I'm like, oh, shit, Tyler, what'd you do to this guy?
I felt like my 100th was that way. I felt like I was stuck on that for about 3.5 months, or it seemed like years. But and then once I got over that, and I don't know why mentally we block, you know that's coming up, and everybody talks about it. And I kind of have this rule: I don't really want to talk about it. I don't want to know the point thing. Like,
Right.
You know,
Well, just messes with you, don't it?
I like, you know, and like the national point thing this year, like about the middle of July, we kind of started looking at it, even though there'd been people been talking about it for a while before that because of the year that we've had here at Boone. And, you know, I didn't even know what my point lead was in Boone. I don't want to know, you know.
Kind of like talking about the no hitter in
Right.
baseball.
Right.
Like,
You know,
Yeah,
it's
same thing.
just keep it nice and quiet.
none of that was ever talked about before the year or anything like that. And, you know, just see how it goes, you know.
Yeah.
And that's, somebody asked me that after this deal was over, like, are you going to try for it again next year? And I said, we'll see what August brings.
Yeah.
Because I don't do well thinking about that and
Right.
like, oh, I need to win, or you know, it's just it's hard.
Well, you listen to all the interviews at the national banquet, and they all those guys kind of said the same thing. Like, no, we didn't start off the year like that. They just want to, you know, let's get going and see how it goes. And if a bunch of bad stuff happens, then maybe you stick closer to home and
Right.
race some bigger specials or whatever it might be. But yeah, you started off pretty good, you know, even down in Arizona. You come up here, and then all of a sudden, now the national point thing starts to come into focus. At what point do you start to? And I know you're saying you don't want to talk about it, don't want to think about it. It has to enter your mind at some point.
It does. It's hard to not. But,
Sure.
I don't know. I think here it was, you know, probably this year was probably after the Harris Clash, I think, when we really started like, okay, now we got to start watching our nights, and we got to there was times that I drove to Algona and sat outside of the racetrack, well, not even close to the racetrack, just in town, because if they weren't going to get 10 cars, I wasn't going,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was nights we turned around and drove back too, you know, but
Which that's a tough one. You
Yeah.
spent a lot of your career at Algona. I'm not
Yeah.
even going to try to say it, so off. Don't even
Come
ask me
on.
to say it. I know I'm not doing it.
Kasut.
So,
Clint's tooth.
so when you're, you know, at that point, you know, you're running really well, and you've been clicking off wins. You get switched into this Brand X car here. This is the second season in it. You know, not very many of those cars out here. Kind of made a statement with what I mean, because all of us know to do something like that in this area is very tough. Mike Nichols had it figured out, you know. Kelly Shyrock said it in his interview, you know, at the national banquet. Like, he had it kind of figured out. It was kind of nice that he moved away from the region.
yeah.
But nobody's ever really done that here at some of the racetracks. I don't know why, if it's just that there's that much talent here in this area.
Tough spot. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, not that there's not a lot of talent in a lot of areas, but, you know, what are you traveling, 2 hours to come down here on a Saturday night?
Well, with the interstate and stuff, and it's about an hour and a half, you know, which isn't
ain't
too
bad. No, that ain't bad. I thought it was a little further than that.
No,
but
pretty
still,
straight shots. So.
there's people that, you know, travel a long ways to come down here. In the modified show, there's, as you know, there's very good cars here that can win anywhere in the state.
Right. And I've gotten a lot of flack over some other racetracks, like, well, why are you going to Boone? They don't pay nothing. Everybody always talks about Boone doesn't pay anything. And I said, well, I have a race car, and I want to be able to race it. And that's one place I can go, and I know that I'm going to be able to come from 12th or wherever and have a chance every night because the racetrack allows it. And that's not knocking anybody's racetrack. It's just and the farming helps and whatever, but you just know that you're going to be able to race here.
They've gained that. Boone Speedway has gained that consistency, just week in and week out. Not with just the racetrack surface, but the competition that comes here. And I mean it is tough. People gave me a hard time about racing the Smiths in the stock car for the championship. Tall task, boys,
right?
Because they're savage.
Yep.
They're racers, and Boone Speedway has a reputation of putting on some of the best shows, the best racetrack surface. Apparently, best frickin' concession stand Crispitos this side of the Mississippi.
Not on our side, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Horse shit.
Jeremy, have you had one?
I have not had one.
All right. Well,
how could he have one?
We're 0 for 3, Cody.
I mean, we get the thick crusted cheese balls. So now there's more people in the pit area that have dentures. Not a jab at anybody. Than there are as in the grandstand.
So hey, I actually had a conversation about this, that the people in the pits, they need a little more grit, and that's why they're a little bit tougher down there.
No, bud, we're worn down more than anything. We're older.
You need to be able to gum through some cheese balls.
Yeah. I mean, don't make me call Turbo. I mean, he gums through them, but I'll guarantee you that if he knows that there's soft breaded cheese balls in the grandstands and that they have, he's gonna be pissed about it.
Well, we're gonna get that fixed.
Right. Fair.
Hey, let's go to a break before we get into more Crispitos and cheese balls debacle. But yeah, when we come back, we'll talk more with Jeremy. I want to talk about some of our trips we had to Arizona. We had some pretty good ones back in the day, and that I say back in the day, and that makes me feel shit. That was probably 12 years ago. Still, yeah, even now. But when we come back, we'll continue our talk with Jeremy on watermelons and wood chips.
When you go green, precision matters, and that's why you choose Weir's Machine. From suspension components, tools, and data technology, we've changed the game for race teams around the world. Our Ultra Force Load machines are revolutionizing how teams collect and analyze data, while our Circle Track app provides a data storage notebook, giving you the edge on every turn. We're not here to follow the pack, we're here to lead it. American-made, race-tested, Weir's Machine.
Central Iowa Diesel Performance is a full-service preventative maintenance and truck repair center in Ames, Iowa. While they specialize in high-performance applications, they can do fleet repair, engine maintenance, transmission repair, or things such as brakes and electrical. Anything diesel truck related, Central Iowa Diesel Performance is your go-to shop. Check them out at www.centraliowadieselperformance.com.
Welcome back, race fans. Watermelons and wood chips, presented by Central Iowa Diesel Performance. And before we get into anything, we cracked open the Letter Eats by B food and the dip and I don't know. That one was strawberry. This one's like, what is this? Everything.
That's a special
cheese ball.
Yeah, special cheese ball. My sister.
Yeah.
Beats on.
Yeah.
Incredible. And
Britt, send over whatever you want.
Yeah. we'll talk about you every episode. We'll try everything you got. It's very
She's
good.
really trying to squeeze into the concession stand, I think, is what's really going on. Okay. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying, I think that's what's going on.
Well, I noticed, too, that when you were diving into that head first there at the beginning, there's a bunch of stuff on the side there that disappeared from last week. Did you?
Wow. Yeah. I got rid of the bars.
Give her a trim?
Trimmed her up. I was thinking about going with the Zorro stash.
Yeah.
You know how they shave it in the middle and then like thin it up and everything? But I'm just not that talented with my razor or my little machine thingy. But yeah, good deer hunt. Haven't talked to Jakester. I don't know. I mean, they'd killed some deer and stuff. We shot our 13 tags that we had, and the snow was treacherous. It was cold as shit. Not bitching because it was the first time we had the snow, which you could see them babies a long way. So it was a good weekend.
Everybody walked away. Didn't have any like special guests in the timber while you were hunting, or
no, we did. We stayed away from Johnny Law Dog. However, we had a weird experience. Usually they're flying the plane around, to go and check licenses and whatnot. We never did get checked all weekend, but we heard a drone. That was a little weird. I stood basically in front of a trail cam the one entire hunt, and don't know whose trail cam it is, but they got to watch me shoot some deer. So that was, I bet they're probably like, right on. I was also chain smoking cigarettes because
weird.
I forgot my lighter. And so I'm standing there freezing my ass off. And I'm like, man, I'm like doing the tippy toe dance, where you like, if sometimes when you're like turtle or prairie dogging, you're dancing around trying to stay warm. Well, I'm like, man, I'm looking for my lighter, can't find my lighter. So I walk down to the next guy, I get my smoke lit up, and I walk back, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to just chain smoke. We've already been standing here for an hour and a half, so I'm just chain smoking. As soon as it goes out, I'm lighting another one, and all of a sudden, here comes this deer in, and I missed him a few times before I hit him, but I got him. It was a good weekend. Nobody got hurt. Nobody. I think our pride was all hurt a little bit because it felt like we got ran over. We hunted the snowstorm on Saturday afternoon, which was awesome, but at the same time, pretty wild because it was really snowing. Went to like just snowing to like whiteout conditions. But all in all, good 2025 deer hunt season for the West Boone boys, and I know Jakester and their group. I know that they were killing deer, and today's the last day. It'll close that out and have a few days off, and then it'll be second season for the guys.
nice.
How did you do on cleaning the deer? You said you'd have some sort of a story for us.
Any gagging?
Oh, there's video of me gagging. They all think it's funny, and I mean, it's like, it's usually only when they hit the stomach, when you're gutting it. And then there's just, if you've ever cleaned a deer, it's that smell.
Yeah.
And that's what gets me gagging.
Yeah. I haven't, but I grew up on a farm, and just to not be completely terrible, we had animals die sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to drag them up out, and usually something would come apart, and you get to know the anatomy of an animal pretty quick.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. I just can't. And then see what happens is I'm usually I'm pretty good. And then somebody will start like fake gagging. And then I start thinking about it, and the next thing I know, I'm puking, eyes are watering, trying to get the gloves off. Yeah.
I'm going to have to send you there's a TikTok account that has been popping up on me, and it's this guy that has like the worst gag reflex ever. And it didn't start coming up on my phone until we talked about you having a bad gag reflex.
Is his name Dave Musser? Because my stepdad, you crack a fart, bud, and he's puking. It's so funny. It's so funny. We just do it to fuck with him, you know what I mean? Like at family events and stuff. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, we ended up not cleaning any of our deer. We just took them to the locker, Richport locker, dropped them off up there, tagged
Smart
them
move.
up. Yeah, way less hassle. With all the kids and people wrestling tournaments and shit, and
Sure.
everything going on. That's kind of why we went to first season too.
You do a lot of processing, like you do a lot of sticks and sausage and stuff.
Just sticks, ground, and steaks.
Nice,
Yep,
cool.
Yeah,
easy
that's cool.
peasy.
Yeah, speaking of wrestling stuff, we talk a little bit about wrestling usually on here, but you guys got some stuff going on too. You guys are wrestling a lot right now.
Yeah, we got our youngest DJ. He's just starting it out, and we took him to his first tournament a couple weeks ago in Clear Lake, and he did really well. I pinned him all, and then now it's been on. And
Yeah.
we ran into a couple buzzsaws. Well, one buzzsaw, and the other one he should have beaten, but yeah.
So is he going to be tough enough to like? How old is he?
He's 6.
He's 6. Well,
He's pretty tough, though.
Steele, my nephew
Yeah.
Steele, he started wrestling,
Yep.
and the facial expressions he's got coming out, I'm like really optimistic he's going to be an animal.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw a video of Steele where he just beat the piss out of this kid, and then they go to shake hands, and he's back in a stance. Like, he thinks there's more coming. And they're like, no, they're raising your hand right now.
They went to raise his hand, and he went in for a double A. And they're like, no, the match is over. So I'm super excited about that. But it's a thing. The wrestling's a thing.
Yeah.
You know, Cody's done it his whole life. You've been around it. It takes a different kind of mindset and a different kind of motivation from your supporters to make that happen. So starting them out young, it's a lifelong thing. I mean, Cody, how long have you been doing it for? Do you go do the freestyle thing or the adult one? Or you be too gassed?
Kellen's been trying to get me to do that.
Come on.
Do like an old timers one, and I'm like, no, because I look at the names that are in those, and I'm like, yeah, that guy beat the shit out of me when I was in high school. That guy wrestled D3. Like, yeah, now we're good.
You don't want that chance to get back at him a little
I don't.
bit?
No, I do not.
Don't
no,
see it?
Absolutely. The best thing about being a middle school coach is you can go wrestle live with those guys, and then you're done whenever you want to be. They got to keep wrestling. So, but
I did one of those old-timer tournaments when I turned 40.
You did?
I did.
How'd it go?
I won all 3.
Really?
It's Storm Lake, yeah. They have one every
Have you
year.
done the beach wrestling one up there?
No.
I think they have one. I think they had one at Clear Lake. Usually they have like a beach wrestling one. But
I mean,
Oh, yeah, they do. I haven't done that.
were you gassed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at it when I saw the flyer at first. I'm like, 1 minute rest period. Who the hell needs the rest? And I needed all of the 1 minute. I did.
So this is starting to come into view here a little bit. Now, Jerry's been asking for somebody to go at it on the front stretch. It's been going for a while.
if we give Cowboy Ray a 1 minute rest period, it might happen.
Hang on, though, because
It depends how fired up I am. I might not need the minute.
Well, I was going to say, I think you took a couple steps and maybe went up in the air and across the nose of a car 2 years ago at Super Nationals, was it?
Yeah.
So
I was ready for that. I
think-
would have went there.
Okay, all right. So this is all right. So now I know what to watch for
If
when I see
if that black flag didn't get issued for him, it was going to be on.
it's going to happen.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
His dad wouldn't have been able to save him from that.
No,
See?
Can't buy his way out of that.
I'm not the only one.
hey,
Everybody just sees me do it all the time. Nobody else sees all these other guys that are like,
the thing that I love the most about my view, and it doesn't matter if I'm at the pit shack, up in the tower, is I get to see the fire. Like it doesn't always come across. Now you're a lot closer than I am to it.
Yeah,
a lot of
I'm
times.
first point of contact.
But you can just see like on a guy's face, like, oh, he's not going to put up with that shit, or no, he is going to put up with it, so he's going to get it some more, and that you kind of see that. But now I would probably do a little bit of research on a guy, and if he wrestled in high school and when he was 40 years old and had a 3-0, I'd maybe be a little careful.
That's why, like, William Gould's got big old cauliflower ear on him. you know?
Yep. Yeah.
yeah, don't fuck with him, bud. He will double leg for a chicken wing in about fucking 29 seconds. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
And then he'll go out and put it on the firewall and rip the lip.
Yep.
That's awesome.
But wrestling's it's a good sport, like, because you have to be able to flip your emotions so fast.
Yeah.
To me, that one translates the best into a race car because you've got to
100%.
be able to shut it down, flip the switch, go back, start over. And I mean, I would assume that applies.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like you control your own destiny in that sport as well as like driving a race car for the most
Right.
part, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some things you can't control as
Sure.
other 23 dudes, but you're the one behind holding the wheel, you know? So, but I know I wanted to talk about, there was a trip we took to Arizona. I think it was the first trip that we all went together with. It was you, I think you, Stacy, and with the powerlift guys. So we all went. Was that?
Oh.
Was that? Were we going in? I'd never been to Canyon before,
It's Canyon, yeah.
and we're going in there in the dark. And I'm like, where are we going? I don't know if have you ever been out there?
Nope.
Oh,
That was in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere, and you got to follow these roads all back, and it's like a narrow dirt road. You follow it all the way back, and all of a sudden there's this racetrack in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going in there at night, whatever. We were dropping the trailers off or something to go back to the hotel, and I'm like, what in the world are we getting ourselves into? It was like kind of sketchy going.
They had
in
no
there at night.
power out there. Everything
Yeah.
was ran off the generator.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, but I remember I think that was the first time we'd spent some time together. And
It's an interesting little place.
Yeah, but it was a fun deal. Like
Yeah.
we'd race there that year. I think we ended up dropping our stuff off and we'd like fly back and forth. Did you guys fly back and
We
forth
did
too?
there for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was always a fun little series.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that being like the first, because I think you were one of our first kind of like sponsored powerlift when we were making the jack stacks and the car carts and stuff. So, and that was like our first, I don't know, the first time I kind of really got to know Jeremy. We raced together. I went from never being on an airplane ever in my life to flying back and forth to Arizona like 8 weeks in a row. So it was pretty fun. That was a cool series.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So was it how big was that track?
It's
Is it pretty good size?
no, it's small.
Is
It's smaller
Right.
than is it kind of close to Stewart or is it bigger than Stewart? It's a little bigger than
A
Stewart.
little
maybe.
bigger than Stewart.
Yeah.
It wasn't very banked.
Were you
that I
out there the
remember.
year that the cows like got out
Mm-mm.
there? Oh yeah, there was one year that like longhorns or there was like a cows or longhorns or something like walking out and they had to like shoo them off the racetrack so we could hot lap.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to hit one of them.
No,
Probably be bad.
no.
I think it's closed up now, though.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. But it was kind of cool because they'd run the modifieds with like the USAC Western series. So like they had the wingless. I think it was wingless 360s out there at the time. But like you'd see some dudes that were just racing 360s to basically to pass their time or keep racing. But
Yeah.
that was a fun little series.
It's kind of unfortunate. There's been quite a few tracks closed down there, and
Yeah.
like where they used to hold the Wild West Shootout, which the whole thing is they're going to build a bunch of houses there and do all this stuff. And if you look at Google Maps today, it's just
Yeah, they haven't
flat
got there
land.
yet because my parents have a place out there that, like last year, we stayed there, but yeah, they haven't really got out there yet. But,
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean,
and it
that
was a nice racetrack.
That
too,
was a real
one
nice
was.
place. Yep.
And then so what's the only ones out there still? Where did you guys go? Casa Grande?
Casa Grande last year, yep, in Yuma the few years before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some races out there. That was fun too. Like the casino, we always go to the casino,
Yeah.
and it was a good time out there.
Yeah. So I just got back from St. Louis. We went down to the Dome race. Have you ever been down to that?
No.
Have you ever thought about going down to that?
There was some thought this year. Cody reached out, wanted to know if he extended an invite if we would come, and I'm like, well, not with my car. And I had my car for sale, so I didn't want to jeopardize that.
Are you retiring?
No.
No.
I got a new Brand X coming.
So
All right.
Jordan, because Jordan goes down and runs
Yep.
that every year, so
Yep.
we see him down there, and great looking car always.
Yeah, that car was
Kills me when he comes by and it says IMCA TV across the top. I love it.
Yeah.
That's just a selfish thing for me because I know it's a different streamer and all that. But
Yep.
but I just wondered if you ever had a shot at running that deal.
No, and I mean, he gave me a couple weeks to try to find a car, and
Mhm.
Several of the people that I reached out to that were racing that I knew had other cars. They weren't even driving their own car; they were driving somebody else's. So,
Gotcha.
so I just kind of fell through, I guess.
But it is something that interests you, obviously. Or you
Yeah, I mean, we watched it, every night, and I don't know that. I mean, if I go, I'd like to race. I'm not a very good spectator at the place, except for Super Nationals. I love watching all the other races when we're not racing
Mhm.
on our off days. But yeah, it would be something fun to do someday. I
Yeah,
think.
it's just it always gets me every year. When they do the opening ceremonies, it takes forever, but it's so worth it. And then when they crank up the God Bless the USA, like that whole place lights up. Everybody's got their phones with the flashlights on. It's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
super
I was
cool.
thinking, we talked about the fence repair shit, right?
Mhm.
And I just was thinking, like, man, what is a way that they could maybe like speed that up? Not that, the rebar tie guns that they have now
Oh,
for
yeah.
like concreters.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That would be awesome. Instead of like taking ties and shit, Cody, listen up. This might be your new thing. And if you do use it, I want a little bit of credit for it. But I mean, I'm talking, they just bring in a new fence and that thing is just a machine. It's just,
Yep.
and you could just do that. Like instead of up there and they're zip tying or they're this or they're that. I mean, I know he knows concrete, friends. You can tighten those things up a little bit. I mean, it holds rebar together.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it sure as shit it would hold
Right.
I would
the
think so.
fencing together,
Right.
but they did do a great job on that.
They did.
I think the only person that actually really went through it was Bronson.
Yeah, and he never. So
He didn't penetrate.
no, in past years too, he would have clipped the pole off. We've seen that happen multiple times. Not a pole went down the whole time.
Which A+ on that.
Yeah. So
A+
whatever.
on that.
I don't know if they did anything different or not. But
well, and it looked like to me. I know they must run some cables.
something.
We kind of seen that in some of the video footage that they did. However, the I think they could cut down a lot of their time. Yellow flag time is if they got a John Deere in there with the 3-point. I
Yeah.
mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, so many racetracks overlook that, I think. Like, and it works so freaking good. Like,
The hillbilly
yeah.
Yeah.
toe and
Yeah.
go. Yep.
And I mean, because they're in there and they're trying to back this wrecker up, and then the guy's got to get out of the wrecker, and he's the only one that knows how to run those levers. You know, you notice that? Like, every wrecker guy's like, "You're not touching my fucking lever. I will drive it over here, but you're not touching them." You know,
Yeah.
especially the old boy that runs the yellow truck here.
I think
I
that's
mean-
always been a thing, though. That's their truck.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, you're just as much as a part of it. You're driving it over there. Let the boy handle the levers or whatever, you know. But it's a father-son thing. I understand that.
Yeah.
So
they,
Cody. I mean, I'm just saying, man. Find a little John Deere tractor. I think it would be like super awesome.
Yeah.
Who was it that was stuck together? Oh, Clay Money and that one guy. Did you guys see that part of it?
Yeah.
Was it Barnhill? Owen?
No.
Oh, you mean at the Dome?
At the Dome.
Okay.
Yeah, Clay Money the guy got jacked up over his left rear, and
Drove
it was
up
like
into him, yeah.
they picked the car up. They're back there playing Ring Around the Rosie, or I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to swing it back and forth, and it was stuck together, and it was just a.
Was it Logan Velos? The 43? He got
I
into
don't know,
somebody
but
and they got all wedged in. And
Right, I didn't even know. Was Logan racing his car there?
well, he was in a 43 and it said the Master underneath the.
The Master.
I know.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we might have had some fun talking about that.
But you know, the thing about it is every year they've gotten better and better and better. And hold on a minute too. How about the pit tire, the pit stop?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Everybody was trash.
Yeah.
They were like slow motion. I'm thinking like remember when we were kids and it was just like, No, that brings another subject. Why don't we do the pit stop thing at Super
When are we
Nationals
going to
no
do
more?
it?
I don't know. Find a time. We have 1,300 farm sessions that week. I know they're only 12 minutes, but like I thought that was cool. Best pairing car.
I do remember back in the day because Roach he was the quickest one in and out of your dad's car. So John was actually, I think, putting fuel in, and then Roach would be the one that gets in and out of the car, and they would bring him. Do you remember this? Mm-mm. They would bring him in on the front stretch, right off
in the grandstands, though.
Off the east end, yeah. And you'd have to roll the car in.
Here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
in the
definitely don't
grass.
remember
In the
that.
grass, right in front of the grandstands
Right on the blacktop.
during Super Nationals.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I do not remember that at all.
You'd have to push it in, and they'd have to come to a stop, change the tire, put 5 gallons of fuel in. The driver would have to unstrap, get out, get back in, and they'd push it all the way past the flag stand.
Yep. Man, I'm telling
Let's
you.
make it happen.
Seriously.
That sounds cool. Sounds very
saying.
cool.
I thought it was cool that, they did that at the Dome, but I was just really surprised how nifty those late model guys are and how slow they were to change that tire. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
the lug nuts are so damn far apart. Like I don't know if it's that or they're so deep.
but
or,
we watch them all summer long. Them guys change like 3 tires a race sometimes.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true.
You know, like
that's true.
it was just weird for me
Yeah.
that they took that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm
I don't
with
know.
you.
But it was cool to watch.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and those poles were so tough that they took a fuel cell out of Mike Marler's car.
Holy shit.
Damn.
I thought we had another turn 3 and 4 here at the Boone Speedway. Like, look out.
Luckily, it didn't land up on anybody. but-
Well, here's the thing, too, is he sent that thing into the corner. Like, I'm doing what Mike Marler does.
Uh-huh.
And then I wonder what he thought when he hit the wall and then the car just died.
I'm
Because
imagining
the fuel cell ripped out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
because he kind of sort of drove away from it, and then I think she ran out. He's like, "What the hell?" But putting maximum dome struction on the side of your car,
And then that happens.
I probably wouldn't do that again.
OG shit.
That's like
Yeah.
kind of like putting a fighter jet on your car and coming to Super Nationals.
Yeah,
Not a good idea.
No,
That's funny. So going into that, what is your most memorable moment, I guess, as being a race car driver? It could be hobby stock days, modified days, anything like that. What sticks out in Jeremy Mills's career?
I've been fortunate to have a few that are pretty good. Some big races, probably like Night of 1,000 Stars. And then a couple years ago, finally got a salute to veterans in Algona, and because those are super tough to get, and and then the Prelude this year was pretty big, for me, because especially with the year we have, because I wanted to try to keep it going during Super Nationals. And
Did your mindset change a little bit, like being the track champion here at Boone, and I feel like, man, I gotta perform because I'm the track champ here. I race here weekly. I this, I that. Does that go through you? Do you think about that, or you just it's just another race?
yeah, I think I do probably a little bit. I didn't I think it was on Wednesday night. We had a hub nut break, and the left rear came off down here in turn 1, and it ended up coming off in turn 3. But in my heat race, and then we get pulled in with the wrecker, and there must have been 400 people trying to look under my car, and it was, it was pretty intense there. We're trying to cover stuff up, and that was pretty surreal, though. Just I didn't think anybody really cared that much, but there was a lot, and there was IMCA TV camera trying to get under there, and I don't think my crew took very kindly to that.
But when you're the dude, though, you had a dominating season here, as far as the modifieds go at Boone. So then, you like you said, I don't think you realize how many eyeballs are on you, especially now with the TV stuff. And then everybody gets to come to Super Nationals or take their vacation. There's that many people that have been watching you all year, and you're like, holy cow! Like these guys.
Right, and we did really, really good on the T-shirt sales. My wife and they did really good. We had a lot of people stop by all week, and it's just another rewarding, I guess, feeling that all these people up from different states and whatever are paying attention. So
for sure,
especially to Boone.
They can take pictures and they can look under that car, but they're never going to get the nut that's between the wheel and the throttle, right?
That's right.
So, I think about that a lot because you see that at late model races. Guys are always trying to take pictures, and I get that stuff's very important, but I really think that you're going to be very, very few and far between to put somebody else in that car and have them do as good as you do.
Yeah, and then Jonathan knows this too. Like, you might know X, Y, but you don't know Z. So you might know where this look, but you don't, So you can't really, by getting a look under, you can go put your bars and all this in the same spot, and you're not even halfway there,
right? And even if you're dead on, you're not going to drive it the same that you do,
right?
Or the shocks, there's so much different, but it is. I just love when I hear people say, "Oh, just give me a chance to drive that car." I could kick anybody's ass too. No, you couldn't.
Right.
It's
right.
rare.
You think, could you put Tom Berry in Jeremy Mills's car? Could you put Jeremy Mills in Ethan Braxma's car? Could you put in any situation like that and have the same results? I don't think so.
I don't either, because even like Isaac and I with the same car, we were on, both pretty fast all year, but we're on completely different setups. I was trying that stuff in Arizona, and Isaac stuck with it, and it wasn't. I don't know that it wasn't for me because I didn't mind it, but I felt more comfortable in the way I do things, I guess, a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and even like you said, you got in the modified, they're so close. You have a measurement here that's a 1/4 inch different or a 1/2 inch different here. Like, your race car is going to be handled completely different than the dude that it has the bar angles in the same spot, but if you have something adjusted somewhere else, it's
Right.
gonna be way different.
Yeah.
I don't know if any chassis builders ever found that magic setup that just
Works
works,
for everybody.
for me, you, Jimmy, John, and Joe.
Right. I don't think it exists.
I don't.
You know?
I don't think it does either. I mean, just because so many, my dad always told me growing up over the years, the biggest thing you can change about a race car is the nut behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Really. You have your superhumans like Ricky Thornton and shit like that can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But even then, you still see them not shine all the time.
Yeah.
So then when I see that kind of stuff, it's like, man, I mean, all right, then they finally figure it out. It's like, okay, he's a lot smarter than I thought he was. Or,
Or when you see a guy adapt, like, say, Ricky goes out in a stock car and, like, first 8-10 laps, he's average. And then all of a sudden, like, something clicks. Or the tires start to go away and he's been managing, and then all of a sudden he's just the fastest guy on the track. I mean,
Right.
that's very impressive to me when you can see a guy adapt like that and get the most that he can get out of a car that he's not in every day, or go from that late model to a mod, to a stock car, to a freaking compact, I suppose, if he wanted to, and still be competitive. We see him, we don't see him very often, but they're out there.
Well, and you got a chance to run one of Todd's cars there for a while too, like stock car stuff.
Yep.
And like, how does that? Did you enjoy that? Like, I know you had some success in that stock car too. Like, so, but are you just like a mod guy through and through, or did you enjoy that stock car?
No,
deal?
I really enjoyed driving the stock car. I think the biggest thing for me is I just drove what they gave me. I don't know what to change, or it was kind of just a fun thing, I think. And I just think, like, when we did that, the competitive part of me, I need to do it more so I'm better at it. When that, nothing like showing up to the biggest race of the year and being your second night in a stock car,
Right.
It's tough.
Right.
they do call it the class too tough to tame.
Yeah, it's very tough class. I mean,
Well, because didn't that start because of the first timers deal?
Yep.
Yeah, because that was
Yep.
like the first time you had ever driven one, wasn't
right.
it? That deal?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that first time, man, I tell you what, we had some upside downs. I mean, it was
That very first stock
wild.
car.
She was a little had some character in the track that night.
Wild,
Yeah.
but Randy Roberts comes out of retirement upside down on the backstretch, red flags out, and we're racing for 200, boys. Like, I wish I could have been Grant that night on the headset. Like, hey,
Well, we
now
did have a
listen.
2-post trophy though.
Fair. Fair. I mean, I get it, but I'm thinking like Drew Jansen was in my car and got hit so hard in the right rear that it bent the tail, ripped the body off of it. Ducky looks at me and he's like, "You're an idiot. Why? I mean, he about won, but he didn't."
Something happens when you race for those 2-post trophies.
Seriously, bud. Well, and it doesn't help that all of us are on the backstretch antagonizing the shit out of it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like, come on, let's go.
Right.
Switching that up every year makes it fun to see, I mean, a lot of, like I said, we talked about this, only one in every 7 racers win a race. And 1 in 20 win a track title. I mean, that's not that many. And
Right.
so to see the excitement that they get out of that first timers race, I mean, Jeremy was pretty pumped up to get in that stock car deal, and that we had some issues with the right rear leaking oil and all kinds of shit and everything. And it is a different thing. It's kind of cool to go from one class to another class just to kind of see what that transition is.
Well, should we take our last break and then we'll go to our Elmquist towing question of the week? So, and the question this week was, who's the best IMCA modified driver to not pick up a Super Nationals win? So, be quite the conversation. We had another one, man. These questions are very engaging, so
Yeah.
we enjoy that. But
Yep.
we'll take a break. You've been watching Watermelons and Woodchips. This next segment is brought to you by Logue Fabrication. your go-to shop for custom metal fabrication. From residential and commercial projects to auto racing applications, Logue Fabrication delivers quality and precision every time. They're not just fabricators, they're racers too. Proud home to Rage Hobby Stock and Stock Carts you see tearing up Boone Speedway every week. Whether you need a custom railing, a commercial build, or race-ready metalwork, trust the team at Logue Fabrication to get it done right. Logue Fabrication, where craftsmanship meets horsepower. We can help you stand out anywhere with P1 Promotions, the home of P1P Canopy. From the racetrack to the ball fields to trade shows and beyond, our custom pop-up canopies are built to showcase your brand in style, with multiple sizes and full customization available. But we don't stop there. P1 Promotions also delivers custom rugs, apparel, sportswear, trade show setups, and even P1P custom awards that make an impact. You can see all we have to offer at www.p1pcanopy.com. All right, race fans, welcome back. Watermelons and Woodchips presented by Central Iowa Diesel Performance. We're back from the break, and we'll go right into our Elmquist towing question of the week, which was, who's the best IMCA modified driver not yet to pick up a Super Nationals win? And we had quite a bit of interaction on this one. You know, one of my picks would be the guy sitting next to us. You know, Jeremy, having said that, you've been really, really close, obviously. Like, first one out of the gate, you got to think, oh, man, we're close, so we can come back. This would be easier the next time.
That's how they get you hooked. Get you close.
Yeah. But going through the list, you know, a lot of Johnny Sadoffs.
You know, funny story about that. Johnny used to give my dad shit all. My dad's going to kick my ass for telling this, but I'm going to say it because it's funny as shit. Johnny Sadoff used to give, you know, Johnny's a multi-national champ. And he always gave my dad shit about, you know, oh, I got 5 national championships. And my dad would always be like, well, you know, you haven't won Super Nationals, you know, or whatever. And he's like, yeah. And my dad's like, well, I've never tried to win a national championship, Johnny. So you've tried to win the Super Nationals multiple times. And I'll just never forget it because, you know, like, they were rivals.
Yeah.
Like, that was like a really serious kick in the nuts from my old man to Johnny. You know, and I'm just like,
how many guys get to stick it to Johnny like that, right?
Right.
Not very many.
Right. And I, you know, like, them guys, you know, racing with Mark Noble and shit like that, like, Jeremy got to experience that. Like, them guys were... You know, I see on this list and not winning the Super Nationals too is Bill Davis Sr. He's one of the best race car drivers
ever
of all time.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the Dave Farron. I mean, there's so many. Mark Elliott.
Yep.
Mark's done so many things in his career that never got one of these.
Well, and Mark was one of the guys that kind of had heartbreak also, right? Starter gear ground off. Was that 2000?
The flywheel,
2008 or something, or the flywheel broke.
Yeah,
or something. Yeah.
We'd have to call Turbo on that. He knows what lap, what the temperature was, which way the wind was blowing, everything.
Yeah.
You know, but same deal. Al Haina. I mean, there's so many people on
Jay
this.
Notaboom.
Jay Notaboom.
Yeah.
Notaboom's a good one. Because Notaboom had it and broke. And
I think he broke a gear on the last lap.
Yeah.
Havlik,
Yeah.
09. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was. I think that was one of those years that Jay could come here and he'd be, you know, have a good year, and then he'd have years. That was one where nobody was as fast as him, and then sure enough, a damn part takes him out. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what is it, Jeremy? I mean, is it a curse? Are you cursed? Are you just have some shit ass luck, or like? I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I mean, I know, we all know that you know, you come here, you run this good, especially the last few years. You've really came and focused on trying to be what you were this year, as far as, you know, and I think that that's going to continue into 2026. But what is it? I mean, is it just the bad luck? Like, we know the one year you got tangled up with the Flying Hall brother. He took a hard right and just upside downed you in the infield. That was an absolute tragic. Like, thank God you were okay. That was violent.
yeah,
That was probably my hardest one.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll never
What
forget.
year
You were
was that?
so mad.
2013, I think.
Yeah. I think it was 13. I'm not 100. I'm pretty sure it was my first year
It was either 12 or 13.
of racing, which would have been 13.
Okay.
But I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure it was that. But it just always seems like you've had that heartbreak, and to come out guns blazing right away, pick up that Prelude win, and then just shit happened.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of it is probably mental on my part, and I'll try to get that corrected. But, yeah, I mean, I think, to the people that are doing really good here during the year, I think everybody that comes in here wants to try to beat that guy. So I think they probably race us all a little tougher, and, and then, the draw is important. Where you fall in the farm session is important, So it's one of the races where everything's out of your control, and because I would say that we have the best competition weekly of anywhere I've raced probably ever, because I mean just in this general area, because we go, it doesn't matter where you go, you probably got a super nationals champion, or somebody that's won 20 races that year already there, because especially if it's a bigger show, you're going to have Cody Laney and Broxma and, all these guys that are fast everywhere, and Tim Ward, a lot of times, and Jake, and we got Todd. I love racing Todd here. We race each other hard and respectful.
It's because you guys are the old guys now.
Right. Right.
Got that in a little guy.
Yeah.
I know how you are. You and him are like, oh, yeah. Gee, thanks, Dick.
I guarantee you, though, they get behind that wheel, and it's probably the same with Jeremy, is that steering wheel's in trouble.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well,
he's gonna give her
it's a
hell.
cool thing. Like I said, it's a very cool thing to me to be able to watch these guys race. When my younger years, before I raced, watch them coming up and then go out and racing with them. That's a freaking really cool thing. So I like that, but I also like to give them shit too, because I'm not that much younger, but I'm younger,
Yeah.
Well, and Todd brought this up too, like just the level of intensity every time you strap in. I think Jeremy has that same intensity. You can see it when you're racing. Like you just want to win a race, right?
Well, and I think you have to,
Right.
and and that's like my goal every night is just win the next race, and that you just got to keep refocusing. It's much like wrestling, right? You got to just be focused for 6 minutes at a time or whatever it takes, and yeah, I mean, we're old, but we can still kind of rule the roost a little bit if we want to, all of us older boys, Jimmy, and included in that too.
Well, and we talked about that a little bit too. Kelly Shyrock, 61,
Yeah, 60 or 61.
winning the national title.
Right.
Like, to me, I'm thinking, shit.
You still got a chance.
I still
Bobcat.
got another,
Lot of
I still
hope
got another
left.
20 years of racing, baby, and I can be like, come on, does Jeremy Mills just gonna, the Gary Myers and family big part of your program, and
Yep,
you,
huge part.
I mean, great people to the industry. They support the Salute to Veterans stuff. Is that, when does Jeremy Mills slow down, or does Jeremy Mills slow down? Are we going to continue to see these 60 plus nights a year? We know that your wife and your family and everybody that's involved with the 10-car camp is super invested, super there. We see it week in and week out. 2026 is coming up. You've made it clear that you're going to, sounds like you're going to race here again. Maybe don't know if you're going to do weekly, see how it starts. But what is the future of the 10-car? I mean, you've raced for so long, and it's like you get on your My Race Pass thing, and you can see it's like this roller coaster. In 2011, you had, you raced twice. And then you look and you just see that, and then I pull mine up and I see that same thing. It's like, but when's enough for Jeremy Mills?
My wife and I talk about this a lot, and I think when I'm not competitive anymore, when I don't feel like, and probably a few years before I met my wife, I was thinking like, man, I think I'm about done. Just things weren't going the way that I want them to go. And then we kind of caught fire here lately and just kind of ride this and see how long it goes. And, but I think I don't want to be a field filler, I guess they call them. I don't want to do that. If I'm not competitive and, I feel like I'm a top 5 car almost every night if I do my job right. And, if we're not doing that and they're, just straight out racing and just can't get there, then I'll be ready to be done.
Don't want to just chase that point average?
No. I'm never going to be a point. And there's, we make this joke a lot because there's a lot of tracks from 10th on back pays the same. And they're like, well, just pull off if you get back there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that.
Right.
Like
you're not wired that way.
I can't.
Yeah.
So many people have that mindset or that mentality. My crew guy gives me shit sometimes. I'll be running like 18th. What are you doing? Driving. Trying to like
get one more.
If you don't think I don't know that we suck, you're an idiot.
We're the first ones.
I'm driving the goddamn thing.
We're the first one that knows it.
Right. And we know about lap 2 or 3.
Yep.
Depending on circumstance. Whether, like Todd said, I know in the first few laps whether we're going to be good or not be good. And sometimes that's dictated by what's going on in front of you or around you. But you're always learning something when you're on the racetrack. And I'm the same way. I just can't. Unless I'm in the way, getting lapped, which isn't very common for me.
Right.
If I'm getting lapped, I will pull out of the way. It's not my race. I shouldn't be.
Right.
But at the same time, too, though, I think that dickhead doored me up last week. Maybe I should,
Well, even like this year, towards the end of this national point deal, we venture out to different racetracks, especially towards the end of the year. And if they have several nights left, the logic would be if you can't win, to gain yourself points, pull in, get a lower point average. I can't do it. Like I go there knowing that that's what I need to do, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'd rather run 9th,
Well, in here, your point battle wasn't, and I don't want to say not tough, like they're all tough, but like the stock cars was one of our closest, I believe. And if you're running 18th and Devin Smith's picking them off in the lead and guys are pulling off, you're gaining a point, you're gaining a point, you're gaining a point. And that can make all the difference at the end of the year. So that would be my side of it is why pull off? Like, because you stand to gain a point or two and we can see these things come down.
Well, you saw that in the modified feature at the Dome this week. There was like 6 or 8 cars that all pulled in the infield and then they had that big rack, you know. Like,
thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went right over that 6-7. You guys see it?
I missed it.
6 to 8 cars.
Wow. Does that mean we're officially past it?
Well, I was hoping to bring the change because I watch it every weekend. Like, oh,
We're at the concert last night. At my daughter's concert last night. And I'm just like, it's gotten to the point where it is like I want to choke a kid that says it. They're doing the whole hand thing and everything.
We were DJs wrestling on Sunday, and they had the records of the basketball up on there, and he goes, "Look at that team up there, 6-7." It's like we're here to wrestle.
I capitalized on that deal. I made a scrap season T-shirt that had a ref that was in the scoreboard. I made
6-7?
It said 6-7, and the ref was going like this. So,
nice.
And you know what? Those shirts all sold out.
Jonathan's punishing that dip over there. He's pissed.
You can't have one. I know you guys can, but I'm fat.
Oh no,
So good.
I had 2 under break. Just
There's real strawberries in it.
Yeah.
It's fluffy. It's creamy.
Yeah. Good. Letter East by B. What's the address of that place? Better work on that for next time.
I have no idea what. I mean, it's even on the lid.
Look her up on Facebook, right?
It's not even on the lid. Yeah, look it up on Facebook. Address is on there. My brother-in-law's weird about it, so it might not be on there.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. He's not.
Oh, all right.
I don't know what her address is. I just know that where she lives.
What? Oh, I
gotta
didn't
go to
know
the curve.
she doesn't have a brick and mortar. Then it's just Like this is.
Oh no, she has. It's at her home, but she has a cheese shop.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
a badass cheese shop.
Gotcha.
You can go in there and she got a cooler with all the
Okay,
fiddles, and she usually posts on there when they're running a special. And,
nice.
yeah.
So I wanted to throw a couple of these names out. There's some that popped up I hadn't even thought about for a while. Brandon Blocklinger, does he still race?
No.
Did he give it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Hunter Marriott, I know he's done or has been done. And then Clint Haddlestat was one that came up.
Clint's still racing.
He is still racing, yeah.
Hey, too, real quick, thinking about that, because Clint, in the year Jeremy ran second to my dad at Super Nationals, Clint Boyer ran fourth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Some guy named Clint
nobody,
Boyer.
yeah,
right?
some guy named Clint Boyer. Clint is super freaking cool, dude, and hopefully he hears that. But
Yeah.
he raced at the Super Nationals,
Yep.
and then goes on into his NASCAR career, which was like back then, like
Right.
I beat Clint Boyer, yeah, like my old man was always like. Maybe I need a NASCAR ride, but just a cool thing. Can't I don't. Has Kenny Strader ever been here to run nationals?
I think he's ran it
I'm not sure.
Kenny?
maybe once. Yeah,
Really?
I guess I don't know 100%.
Well, maybe we could get Herm up here.
maybe we get them both up here.
I mean,
That'd be incredible.
I'm just saying.
Let's get the message out. Herm, bring it up to Boone, buddy. Bring Kenny with you. Do the Kenny and Kenny podcast. We'll give you a little room. You can do the
Yeah,
podcast.
we got
while
a
you're
spot.
here.
We got a spot.
Right.
We'll figure it out. Maybe
You
we
know
do a
one-
simulcast.
One name that wasn't on this that I was thinking about, Jeff Gorman.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Jeff Gorman.
I was thinking about it too. Jeff Gorman, Adam Larson. Mm-hmm. Adam raced for a long time. Was at the end of his when he was going out was really clicked on some shit there for a while. Man, there's so many names that we could that have raced. Just kind of everywhere here nor there. But the people. I mean, you see a lot of. I like seeing the old guys' names that never got it. Like, I actually wasn't even aware that Bill Davis Sr. hadn't won a Super Nationals. I mean, that is just mind-blowing
I
to
thought
me.
he had two.
Gosh, I mean, there's so many people on that could be on this list. Josh Gilman used to race here a lot, had a lot of success here, but never really.
The missile.
Mike Molly.
Yeah.
You guys remember the year my dad gave him a spot? Because my dad roughed him up.
Oh yeah. I'd kind of forgotten about that.
Yeah, he's still over in
Glidden.
Glidden.
Yeah.
Yep, the old missile.
Yep.
Rod Sharman. I mean, he was probably not a good candidate for the Super National Championship, but a lot of fireworks when Rod was around.
He had a lot of good engines.
He did. Yeah, he had a lot of good engines. Come right from here at the racetrack.
Yeah.
Just a short kick and a jump over here.
A little steamy.
Yeah, oh yeah. You guys remember the time he parked his rig out in front of the grandstands? You remember that? Mm-hmm. Because he was pissed off.
Really?
Oh yeah. Him and my dad did not like each other.
No.
The old 14 car from Jefferson.
Well, remember
Hazard County.
the Ghost, when the Ghost showed up, then was it the Ghostbuster
Yeah.
Yeah.
that Rod did?
Ghostbuster.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that shit to me as a fan, like, I
That,
loved
it was awesome.
I loved
Right.
it.
It was awesome. This was
Yeah.
not a jab or anything at
Yeah.
Rod Sharman. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Rod would get out and he just had that.
He looked mean.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
a pussy, though. I mean, I'm just saying. I watched some shit go down.
That was a jab at Rod.
That was a jab at Rod, okay? But, I mean, I don't even know what he does anymore. I don't know if he's still around or what. He just kind of gave all the racing stuff up. And
Yep. I think he went open mod racing.
did
for a
Kurt Lund
bit.
ever win a Super Nationals?
Sprint car.
Sprint car when they were here, but I don't think he's not stock car. He might have been one of the ones that was in the mix of the other 20, the stock car year that everybody should have won that race. But,
Right.
Um,
Well, I was thinking, too, like Dustin Smith.
oh yeah.
I mean, he was good at a mod.
Yeah.
He was. Dustin was good in everything he sat in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, he was
Smart
good in
dude.
mod. Yep.
But I mean, it was a very cool list that the people came up with. Garrett Nelson was mentioned a few times on there, just a short time in a modified running really well here at the Boone Speedway, just having some shit-ass luck. And what I mean by that is that, no, Garrett, it's not a jab at you, but in an older IMCA mod car, I think he converted his sport mod or something.
Yeah, they're Skyrocket guys.
They're Skyrocket guys, yeah. Yep.
Joe
Diehard
McBurney.
Skyrocket guys, huh?
Joe McBurney.
Oh,
Joe McBurney.
Yeah.
Smoking Joe.
Smoking Joe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, Danny Wallace. He used to run around, rip the lip
Danny.
around here, didn't he?
Danny Wallace,
I know.
yeah.
I watched him grind off the right rear quarter at Stewart a few years, and God, that guy was nuts.
He claimed me at Eldora one year.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Eldora, Iowa.
Iowa, yes.
Yeah.
People-
Oh, yeah.
Greenbelt.
Greenbelt.
Right.
Yeah.
The only time I ever went there.
Got
Damn.
claimed.
Yeah.
How many of you lost, Jeremy? Do you know?
8 maybe.
Okay.
They were all cheated.
None.
Okay.
All right. And speaking of cheated, I have to ask this: the statute of limitations long gone. Did you ever cheat in a hobby?
No.
Really?
Never.
Not anything that like drilled out some boosters in the carb.
I've cheated
Nothing.
one time. Not in a hobby, in a mod.
Okay.
God, I don't know. Probably back in 2000, 2001. I spent a week doping tires, go to Fairmont one time. It was non-sanctioned then.
Okay.
I don't,
I'm glad. I love that you had to throw it. It was non-sanctioned.
That's all right.
but it was. It was. It was when
Okay, all right.
Joe Ringsurfer ended up there for a while. It was non-sanctioned, and of course, one of the part suppliers I got, they always asked what I used. I said I don't use anything. Well, everybody uses it. We sell it to everybody, and I'm like, I didn't do it. So they sold me a gallon, and so much time going into it, and I saw zero. I couldn't tell the difference.
Really?
I mean, I'm sure if you knew what you were doing, you probably could, but I'm like, no, not for me.
That's good to hear. It is. Because, I
And-
mean, you hear stories and
I
you
mean,
hear about...
do we push deck height and stuff like that?
Oh,
Sure, we
yeah.
all do that.
Now,
Sure.
wait a
You
minute. I
know.
was going to say, there was a few times this last season you come in all fucked pissed off because the deck height was good in the pit area, but not in the infield.
Not this year. It was the year before.
was it
It
the
was
year
before
before?
the slab. And
So are you the one that got the slab here?
no.
Oh,
Because
no.
people have been
No.
wondering about who really got that here.
We know the answer to that.
So you're going to give us the answer? Or what?
Just as soon as the camera turns off.
Okay, then.
But
Sorry
you know,
about that
back
one,
then when
Lindsay.
they measured it, like, so in the heat race, you pull off. You're the first one to pull off over here.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
in the feature, you pull off over here. Now it's wrong. Mm-hmm. And I don't adjust my deck height, but you don't. You didn't when you. I mean, well, you might have because you cheat a lot. But
No, I did not ever. I was in the. We'd come in and bitch to each other about it.
because it's like
'Cause we pit
there's
next to each
so
other.
much stuff that like you really think I'm spending all week changing the deck height. Like, it's dumb.
Yeah.
But that slab is needed. It's needed everywhere. And then like with the new incoming rules this year, it's
Yeah.
going to be even more important to have
100%.
Oh, yeah.
all these tracks to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's... Because, when I worked at Stewart, I've thought about that many times there. Like, when they're measuring stuff there, I mean, measuring off the dirt, you just...
Yeah, you can't measure off the dirt.
Either you have to have a tolerance, like a big tolerance, or you just don't do it. And,
Right.
And if you're not measuring it, and if it's that big a deal, that's not good. Because
Right.
guys will start to see that, and they start to take advantage of it.
So it'd be interesting this year to see kind of how that
Yeah.
all shakes out. Because that's going to be a big deal. Because, I mean, even like this in your shop, you think your floor is pretty flat, but if you have your car 6 inches one way or the other, could change
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they're gonna raise them up, and then they're gonna slide like a piece of aluminum or something,
Right.
and right when it goes under the tire, they stop jacking it up. So
Yeah.
how thin is that aluminum?
40 thousandths, I think.
Yep. Same as what your sail panel would be.
And
Yeah.
you got to think, well, if it's that, that's pretty small. Doing it in the dirt, I mean, God,
Right.
you can push the tape measure down 1/2 inch.
Right.
So
Dynamite comes in small packages.
sure
baby.
does.
I'm just saying.
It's kind of a small package that got that concrete poured down the infield too.
Yeah. Come with a big price tag, small package. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, I think it'll be good. The rule change getting the Jeremy Mills. Now we figured out that he was actually one that inspired the slab down here in the middle of the Boone Speedway. A couple of controversial calls, maybe some whining and complaining, bitching, and none. Like everybody it's everybody by the pit shack, isn't it?
Right.
That because we're so close to Cody and he's always there, like bringing stuff to Tommy and shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I figured it out.
First point of contact.
First point of contact all the time.
Well, with that being said, we can wrap up our conversation with Jeremy. And Jeremy, we do appreciate you coming down. I know it's a little trek, but to come down and talk with us, we genuinely appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Keep listening. We know,
I will.
We know you're a loyal listener.
Every Tuesday, I'm waiting.
That's awesome.
Put my earbuds in at work and
It's awesome.
listen.
No, we appreciate you, and we appreciate you, like, on our side of it, checking in and stuff. You're always pleasant at the window. You know, again, you can see that fire, and you guys, you do a good job. You're fun to watch, kind of
Thank
like
you.
Todd. You know, we're the old guys.
Right. Yep.
Which is great, I guess. Might as well take it for what it is, right?
Sure. Yep.
So,
Embrace it.
yeah.
Well, we do thank everybody. Like we said, continue to subscribe to all of our channels, share all of our stuff. We want to thank Weir's Machine, Central Iowa Diesel Performance, Elmquist Towing for helping us out, keeping us going, and Letter Eats by B for bringing us some food today. So, Britt, keep that stuff coming in here.
Thanks, Britt.
Yeah, we appreciate it. But with that being said, boys, we'll see you guys next week on Watermelons and Wood Chips.